Hey everyone, and welcome to the 31st episode of We Are All in the Same Boat. I'm your host, Luke Roxwold, and today I am here with Austin.
Hey.
John.
Hello.
And Rob.
Hey guys.
And as always, you can check us out on iTunes and Soundcloud and not YouTube, because I don't ever feel like putting things... Actually, I did put the last one on YouTube, because I thought I might get traffic, but you basically can check us out anywhere, and nobody likes to spend money on things, so we're not asking for money. We just want you to review our podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud because that really helps us out. Awesome. Let's get started. We have no topics, so we're going to wing it today.
It's going to be a disaster.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody. How's everybody doing? I feel like I got a lot of quiet people on this podcast today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Here we go.
All
right. So, yeah.
We were talking about microphones earlier on because this is Rob's first podcast, and you know, he basically has a different microphone than the rest of us. And he said he had, what was it? The Rode Procaster.
The Rode Procaster, yeah.
And then you started. I stopped you, but you started going into how you were sort of, and here's the thing. I think this is kind of funny. Like it's literally like, welcome to the podcast. All right, you take over.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you were saying you were kind of an audio person. I'm a video person. I do a lot of video work, and I just have recently started getting more into audio. So I have like a pretty cheap podcast arm, and then I actually use the what is it, the blue snowball.
So okay, so you got the little orb one on the stand.
Yeah, a little funny looking circle.
That's a great like it's like starter microphone though.
It's actually I really like it.
Really good.
Yeah. I probably would have gotten the Yeti, but it was just more expensive, and I was just like getting started. And
yeah, it takes up a lot of real estate too. It's a big microphone.
Yeah, actually, let me look up the one that you have here. You have the Rode Procaster. I'll look this up. Also, like I said, we're freeballing it. So if anyone wants to jump in and change the topic.
Okay. Well, when you said that the Rode Procaster looked like an old-time microphone, I was really hoping it was like the microphones from Singing in the Rain, which is a big circle.
Those big square-looking ones.
I gotta look that up now. Give me a second here.
It's like one of those like golden ones. Do you feed it into some sort of amp or anything like that before it goes on your computer?
Yeah. So like when I first started, I purchased all this like kit for one of our buddies.
When you first started becoming an audio.
Well, I just kind of like fell into it because one of our buddies, me and John, or John and I, from college.
By the way, actually, just so that the audience knows, Rob is a friend of John. So this is the first time I've had someone I don't know on the podcast. So
yeah, I just met this guy like 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, really. Now we're having a conversation. It's great. Oh, so you were saying that like at some point you just all of a sudden were like, "Hey, I really am into this audio stuff."
Yeah, so I initially bought most of the equipment for video game stuff on YouTube. So my buddy Eddie and I, we have a little channel that we don't really work on too much anymore, called Shock and Rocket, and I bought it all because we wanted. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, watch our videos from 9 months ago.
then you just hang up and leave. Like, got that plug in there.
See you later, suckers. Yeah.
So you got into YouTube because I know that gaming is one of the biggest things on YouTube, and you know it's all about the microphone and the setup and the red chair and the headphones and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. If
I didn't get into all the chair stuff and everything, but.
It's literally like gaming. Like gamers are getting to have like this culture now where it's like they've got the chair and the red glowing keyboard with the snakes on it, and then the big headphones. You know, it's like a whole thing.
So funny you should mention that. Speaking of chairs, so I never replaced the chair I have. I hate chairs that are like on casters that roll across the floor.
Let me see, caster. Is that the
little wheels on them.
Let me just look this up. Like on a regular desk. Yeah, okay. I never.
Yeah. So I like
called casters. Yeah. I just called them wheels.
Listen, I sold furniture for a couple of years. All right.
Did you really? Man, you got all sorts of like sales stories here. Okay.
Oh yeah, man.
So you don't like the wheels because the cords get caught in them? Is that why?
No, I just don't like moving. Like when I'm in front of a desk, I like being stationary, right? So my dad's chair, the chair I have is my dad's chair. And it's got a funny story behind it because just recently during Christmas, I asked him about this chair because I'm looking in to get it reupholstered because I love it so much. And came from my parents' house.
Is it a leather chair?
It's not a leather chair. It's like the body's made out of like walnut, like the frame of it, and then it's just got a pad on it, and it's got little armrests. Right. And he's like, "Oh yeah, the chair I stole in 1978 when we went to this concert out of this hotel room." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool, thanks." Like,
you're just admitting your dad committed a crime on the podcast?
Yeah, like 40 years ago or some shit. So yeah, I love this chair, and I'm looking into getting it reupholstered. And we're talking about chairs instead of microphones.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, we started on microphones and got the chairs, and I'm wondering, like, what went down that night. You said it was at a hotel after a concert, and the next thing you knew,
something like that. They were in a hotel, and his buddies were all together. Yeah, and he's like, "We stole all this crap out of this hotel room," and my dad doesn't talk like that. It's just like,
oh, wait, no one can figure out who he is because you throwing him off the trail with the funky voice.
Yeah, so that's the story of my chair. Yeah.
I feel like
it's comfortable. I love it. I'm gonna get it reupholstered, and I'm probably never gonna buy a red rolly race car chair.
They do look like little race car chairs. That's what I've noticed about them.
Nothing against people that own those sweet chairs.
Yeah, nerds.
Yeah.
I know we started off talking about microphones because John, didn't you say that Rob was the one who kind of convinced you to buy the microphone that you bought?
Yeah, I was looking at microphones and amps for a while, and then Rob was like, just get the Rode into USB and just plug and play. Don't worry about all the other crap.
Okay, so it's a Rode, okay. Because that's what the Snowball is. It's a USB microphone. It doesn't have like the amp. Which I feel like so I'm getting into it slowly, which is part of the reason I'm asking some of these questions, because I got the Snowball because it's USB, so it's really simple and really cheap. And so it was like, well, if I don't like this, I can just do this and be done.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, like, what's the difference between like the microphone that I'm using right now and then, like, I know, do you ever listen to like Joe Rogan or anything like that?
From time to time, I'm not huge on Joe Rogan. Like, I'll just watch like best of clips and stuff like that from his podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I catalog. I don't know if I would.
I'm not a big fan of Joe Rogan, but like I like that he has people on his podcast. Like, he's good at getting people to talk.
Yeah.
But he has the Shure SM7B, I think. It's like I was looking at it, and do you know which one that is?
That's like my little Grail microphone right now.
They're
like
Grail?
700 Canadian. Yeah, they're expensive.
Grail, holy Grail.
Oh, yeah. Grail. Oh,
yeah.
I think you said at first. I didn't know if you said grill or girl. I was like,
yeah, man, you cook some burgers on there.
Make fun of that.
My little girl.
That's my little girl microphone.
Yeah.
You know, when you have those friends that are like really into something, but they're really obnoxious about it, and you bring up something that you think is kind of maybe more higher end, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's for kids. That's a baby camera."
What kind of microphone did you have, Luke?
No, I'm not gonna
answer. Blue? Was it blue?
Yeah, it's a Snowball.
Oh, it's a little baby microphone you got there. USB, get out of here, kid.
Listen, for the price, that is an excellent microphone.
It's really cheap because this one, I got the Ice. I think
you guys in your American dollar.
Yeah, the Shure microphone's only 400 American.
I know.
What's the? I don't even know what's the currency difference. American.
I don't even know.
Have you ever been to the States?
Just we go to Detroit quite often, just for like small things, concerts, baseball games, stuff like that.
The bar high.
Yeah,
Detroit. All right. Well, I hope you don't think too badly of us after going to that city. You know, it's kind of not really.
Well, anywhere else is going to be amazing.
Yeah, I've been to where else? West Virginia as well. That
doesn't really have the greatest reputation either.
I went to like one of those like batter bus tours or whatever to a casino there. Gambled.
Oh man.
And
What was
got
West
drunk.
Virginia like? I've never even been there.
Okay, so you know like those horror movies where you're driving down into like you're driving down into this downhill like little valley and there's just hills along the road on the way down and there's like an
scary
old
music
steel
is
mill
playing and everyone and all the teenagers are like, we're gonna have so much fun this weekend.
Yeah, but you're on a bus with a bunch of old people instead.
Oh, a bunch of old coal miners.
Yeah.
Isn't that what West Virginia had? It was like they had a bunch of coal mining, and then it kind of went out, and then it fell apart.
I might have actually been to that coal mine.
I went to West Virginia by accident.
Were you flying or were you driving?
No, it was supposed to be a church like ski trip, and they were driving, and then there was just a sign of like, "Welcome to West Virginia," and they drove for a bit. Like, I think we've gone the wrong way.
Hold on, let me see. Where does like what's that movie called? Friday the 13th. Where does that take place somewhere?
I think it's like Michigan, isn't it?
No, it's like Massachusetts.
Looking this
Let me
up.
see.
Yeah,
no,
Connecticut.
You do it. Yeah.
Yeah, fake news. I'm gonna fact check you on that one, John. Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah, where's Camp Crystal?
What's it? I bet it's not even real.
New Jersey. It's freaking New Jersey.
New Jersey. Really? Well, you googled that really fast. You were like on that. Wait. Oh, there's a Camp Crystal Lake in Florida. Maybe it takes place in Florida.
No, the Friday the 13th wiki says New Jersey. New Jersey.
New Jersey. Are you ever gonna try and go somewhere cooler, Rob? I mean, there's a lot of places up here. I've been to like Vaughan, like Toronto area.
Yeah.
But that's it. I might go to Vancouver at some point because I live close to there.
Well, that could be a topic. So I don't know if you guys have already mentioned this on the podcast. John went to Canada and came up and visited us for the second time last year.
Yeah, he was. Well, I know a little bit about it. I know that he basically. So John just calls you guys the Canadians.
Accurate.
So I know you guys exist, and he's shown me like a couple of YouTube videos and stuff, and he's like, "Oh, here's something I did with the Canadians." And so I know of you guys, and I've seen some pictures of you guys hanging out, and he told me that he's gone to Canada a few times, but that's about all that I know.
Okay. Well, John.
All right. Well.
Okay, next topic.
What a horrible topic, Rob. Way to go.
Oh man, I'm not very good at this.
Yeah, go for it though. But what happened? Is it an adventure? Was it interesting? How did John handle customs? And stuff like that.
So the one thing that sticks out in particular to me is so we got Tim Hortons up here, right?
I have those up in yep. I went to Tim Hortons a couple times when I was in Canada.
We go to Tim Hortons, and this is like when we were on the road. We're like halfway to Toronto or whatever. Or no, it might have been Niagara Falls. It might have been the first time he came.
This is you and
remember.
John and the other Canadians.
John, myself, Dale, Eddie, and Wade.
Okay.
And we're at one of those little quick stop things, on the highway or whatever. And we walk in, and somebody like held the door open for him. And he's like, "What the hell's going on?" He's like, "Somebody would freaking like get robbed if they did that in freaking Virginia." And I'm like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah,
anyways,
was it so? Wait, somebody opened the door to you going into it.
So we're
Tim
walking
Hortons?
up, and somebody held the door as we were walking up to the door. And
John's
we all
like getting all
past
fidgety, like, oh.
Yeah, and he's like, "What's going on?
Is this a challenge?
Yeah.
Do I have to fight this person now?"
And then we get up there, and he gets, I think, like an ice cap or something, and then Timbits, the little donut holes.
Yeah, hold up. What's an ice cap?
An ice cap is basically a cappuccino blended with crushed ice.
Okay.
It's delicious. I don't know. I guess at Starbucks they'd call it like a flippy jippy frappuccino or something like that. I don't know.
That's right. Milkshake, fruity, coffee, sugar drink.
Yeah. And then I think I recall something else. Wasn't there like a guy in there, John, and he just started talking to you out of nowhere?
It wasn't me, like
a conversation or something.
Like I was waiting for my order.
I don't know how to handle this friendliness.
Yeah.
Are they are they that friendly in Canada?
It's creepy. It's creepy.
You think people are
this
just
is at
insane.
Hang on, this is this is in the middle of the night on the way back from Niagara.
Yeah, at like 10 p.m.
I know, it was like 11 o'clock. And yeah,
It's like
this
the
is
Truman Show all
this
the
was
time.
like you're falling asleep at the wheel moment.
Did you say it's like the Truman Show all the time?
Yeah, that's Canada.
Everyone's like,
It
good
is.
morning.
Yeah.
It's eerie. But yeah, I'm waiting for my drink, and then Dale's in line, and I'm watching Dale, and this guy just starts talking to him, and then they're laughing and talking together in line. It's just so weird. I'm like, do you know that guy? He's like, no, I don't know.
we're like 3 hours away from where we live. John's like, you know that guy? That's hilarious.
You're like, nope. What
Yeah.
what were you guys talking about? Do you remember? Just like,
You know,
Tim Hortons, am I right? What a cool place.
Yeah. Hey, they just started charging an extra 5 cents. Oh, it's okay. It's no problem.
Okay.
No problem, eh?
But you got to keep in mind too, like there's some. Dale's like a super friendly guy, like just about everything. He's one of the nicest guys I know. Yeah.
Okay, so he's just outgoing and talkative.
Yeah, it's a little Dale plug right there.
Oh, Dale. I feel like I
cute,
know him
too.
Put
already.
this on your resume, Dale, if you ever want to be a greeter at Walmart.
That's right, if you want to get in there good with the Walmart crowd.
There you go.
And I know when I was in Canada, it was the first time I actually left the States. It was the first time I actually went through customs and was like in another country. And it was the first time thinking, these people have never been where I'm from. They've never been in America ever, like some of them at least. And just feeling, it was kind of a weird feeling. And I think people that have traveled since they were young probably don't really understand what that's like. But, when you're 21, 20, and you haven't had a chance to go to another country, it's really weird. And I remember there was a bunch of Canada geese, and those things are the worst. I hate those things so much. And so, like,
all over.
yeah, it's like, oh well, I think we kind of were thinking, like, we said, like, oh, it's just a bunch of Canada geese. We're in Canada. But I went there for work, and we got to see Niagara Falls, and we went to Toronto at one point. But we spent most of the time in Vaughan, which is like a couple hours, I think, northwest of. Yeah, and it's mostly just like industrial, so it was just kind of whatever. So I didn't see like I didn't see any moose. Like, I really thought that maybe I'd see one. Should I have not have thought that?
Was that your true expectation of going to
No,
Canada?
but it was kind of like the running. It was kind of like the running gag, like, "Oh, well, we might see a moose." Well, it's like people are like come to America and they think they might see a cowboy or something. And it's like, well, you probably won't. Though.
Rick Moranis is like pumping gas like over in the corner. He's holy shit!
Actually, that's kind of something I'd like to know. In Canada, are there any stereotypes that kind of go around about Americans as fat, stupid, loud,
It's just
loud
mostly
people?
Mostly just the language. Well, you got to keep in mind too. Where
Language
I'm from,
barrier.
Where I'm from is
it's the French
basically
area?
more American than most Michigan people. Because we are basically like screwing the top of America, and then Michigan is just wrapping up around us. So we're pretty Americanized where I'm at.
Okay. Okay.
But it's like I grew up like watching like Fox Kids and UPN 50. All right, so
Right.
I don't even know if you know what that is.
That's what everyone always says that, and when I ask other people from other countries what they think of America, and they're like, "Oh, we watched a ton of American TV." And so I'm like,
Fox
okay,
Kids,
great.
bro.
You guys think
Saturday
that we're all
morning
like Jersey
cartoons.
Shore and keeping up with the Kardashians. That's fantastic. Awesome.
Yeah.
You've probably seen more American TV than I have.
Maybe.
Well, it's funny too, because like you growing up, Detroit was UPN 50, and a lot of the shows, you had like Tim Allen growing up. You had Home Improvement, which I just did a full series run through of that show, and it's freaking amazing still.
It hasn't aged.
You know what? People go, oh, and I was at a party with my girlfriend a couple weeks ago for Christmas, and I started bringing up that show, and I'm like, a show like that would never come out nowadays. Like, it's just he talks about he'll always be like, I'm a man, I can do anything, like that kind of stuff, right? And I go, I just think like the the social stuff these days just wouldn't take it basically.
I'd freak out.
Yeah, and
what do you mean by that? And it's like, that could literally relatively mean I'm not a child, I'm a man.
Yeah,
but
this one girl chimes in and she goes, "Well, no, like I think it would do really well nowadays because Jill, his wife, he'd always say stuff like that, and then at the time when it came out in the '90s, there was never really like a woman, like a wife character in a show that would just like knock down the husband a few pegs, maybe other than like Married with Children."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So she'd always be like, "You're an idiot." And like that kind of stuff. And it's just, that was the funniest part of the show is just like the chemistry they had and like everything.
Right.
So
I'm trying to remember the last time I actually watched Home Improvement. Like I watched it when I was a kid and I think that was the only time I watched it.
You should definitely give it another.
I don't know. I feel like I have a thing against sitcoms these days.
Well, that's, I mean, you're being spoiled by like
the
aughts sitcoms, right? The 2000s. It's just garbage.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny though, because like I told you, there's a video on YouTube that has everyone's favorite sitcom, The Big Bang Theory, and
oh God.
they take the show and they just remove all the laugh tracks.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I was gonna say. You've watched it,
so
okay.
It's like it's so funny because it's like they'll say a joke that's not funny at all, and then they'll just sit there. It's just quiet for like 2 seconds, and then they'll keep going. They'll kind of like look at the camera. Nothing happens.
Oh,
it's
so cringe. It's like you're watching it and
yeah, no, it's a pretty rough show to watch.
Yeah.
It's also like, oh, go ahead.
I think when I was a kid, I basically thought like adult movies had laugh tracks because all the live action stuff would have laugh tracks, but none of the cartoons I'd watch had laugh tracks. So it was just one of those things like, oh, adult movies have bad audio and laugh tracks.
Do they shoot sitcoms in front of a real audience? Is that how it works?
I think that's how it was, like initially at least.
Like
and they'd be there for 8 hours.
Era. Yeah, the TGIF era. I think like Family Matters and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They used to like brag about it. They're like, "This was filmed in front of a live studio audience."
Because I know, like, but the thing is that I wonder, like, I don't think it's like a play, because I know that even things like Ellen, like I know some people that went to go see Ellen, and it's like they'll literally stop and like redo things and be like, "All right, hold on, audience, we gotta try this again. Go back, and actor, whoever you are, go back into your little cave and come out again, and then the audience is gonna clap again like he came on for the first time." Like it's literally extra takes and stuff.
What if the live audience is just the crew?
Just like
so,
all the editors.
We can't be bothered to cut out all the grips laughing at this, so we're just gonna leave it and say it was an audience we come in from.
That's true.
Actually, I would love to watch a sitcom where it's just one dude off the screen. He's just the only guy, and he laughs. He does the laugh track.
Oh man.
Oh, like that's his story. His character is that he does the laugh tracks for TV shows and movies.
Yeah, and he's just like there's a joke, and he's just like.
It's almost like there's a whole story there. Like he's like, all I do is laugh at everything, and I'm not even happy.
Actually, I just remembered that Scooby-Doo would have laugh tracks, and I thought that was really weird. Because like
even
this
like
cartoon
the original
was filmed
stuff?
in front of a live audience.
Scooby-Doo like looks in something, and you just hear like.
No, it's also it's funny because it's like in the old cartoons when they had laugh tracks, it just sounded like people shifting around in their chairs. It wasn't like a laugh; it was just like, like what?
What?
Yeah. Sorry,
yeah,
sir. You cannot cook the steak you want.
But as a kid, I didn't realize that was supposed to be like. Well, I might have realized it, but it's just kind of like, why is there this noise when he's doing things?
The kids are all confused.
Like you're talking like Bugs Bunny and Tweety, like old school shit, right?
No, it's like Scooby Doo. Like Scooby Doo, you had a laugh track.
Stuff.
Like the was it Hanna-Barbera stuff? They all had laugh tracks. The Jetsons, the Flintstones, they all had laugh tracks.
The Jetsons did have laugh tracks.
See, but when you're a kid,
did Johnny
you don't
Quest
notice
have laugh
right?
tracks?
No.
Good.
I don't think so.
What's that, Rob?
Like, it's like white noise when you're a child. Like, you don't even notice it, right? I mean, it's almost like the people watching.
You're just happy to watch cartoons.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. You're not even thinking about it, right?
There's little things moving around on the screen. That's all I need. Haven't you noticed, like, if you ever go back and watch old cartoons, like, there was moments when I was really young that I can remember where I heard a character say something and I had no idea what they said. And it wasn't until I watched it when I was like an adult, I finally was like, oh, they said this. I just didn't understand them, you know? Kind of like in the alphabet when people say, like, LMNOP, and it's like, what's that word? And it's literally like a string of letters. I had that happen so much when I was a kid.
Or it's like when you go back and you watch a cartoon and you realize all the dirty jokes that are being said that you didn't realize as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was interesting for me was when I found out that they'd like passed a bunch of laws about like what you can and can't have in a show. Because as a kid, I thought it was really weird that in Spider-Man, like the Hobgoblin has like a laser gun, but then so do all the police officers. And now it's like, oh, it's because they're not allowed to show real guns in this show.
Right.
Yeah.
In that show, they also weren't allowed to. Nobody was allowed to get punched. So like whenever they fight, they're just like doing somersaults, like rolling around.
It's like a choreography dance, like. Yeah.
Wait, what did you say about it? Like, who said in the Netflix show, women weren't allowed to get punched or something?
No, no.
I'm sorry. I don't know.
No.
I completely misheard you.
No, first of all, that's sexist. Okay, men are getting punched.
Yes.
Women have to get punched too.
Well, because I was like, there's
a context.
Well,
basically,
like
the cartoon Spider-Man movies, they weren't allowed to have anyone punch anybody else. So all they would do to fight was like throw
people around
the floor.
Yeah,
they a lot of throwing.
Yeah.
The same thing with like.
I think Spider-Man wasn't allowed to like attack anyone because he always webbed everybody up. He never like fought anyone.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like he wasn't allowed to like punch people.
Yeah, if he was ever physical, he'd like jump off of them or something. Like he'd use them as like a springboard. You know, like he'd almost like a drop kick, but he'd go jump away.
Yeah, he just crouch on them and jump off.
Yeah,
defeated.
But yeah, when I first thought you said like in the Netflix shows they weren't allowed to punch women, I was like, I totally saw Iron Man like punch Elektra through a wall, so I don't know what.
Iron Fist.
Best show ever?
Yeah.
I thought it was better than Luke Cage.
Okay, well,
Luke Cage was boring.
I don't know. I thought Luke Cage was better.
The problem is he's bulletproof, so it's like, oh, what are all these gangsters with guns gonna do to him?
There's no like fear
threat?
of him, like no threat, right? Yeah. And then you got freaking Danny Rand or whatever the hell his name is, all like, punching people through walls, and he's a little whiner.
He's a kid.
He's not a kid. He's a kid. Yeah,
they could have done his character a lot better.
Yeah,
I will say
I'm not
that.
a big fan of the actor that played him, but I'm not a huge Iron Fist fan, so I don't know how he's really supposed to act, right?
I just watch it for when the fist glows. It just looks so cool.
They need to have more of that. I was really annoyed in Defenders with how many times it's like, you could just solve this whole problem by just punching someone in the face. Stop talking, start punching.
Hey, hold up a second. I just thought about something. Austin, you're on the East Coast. Are you frozen?
No, actually, it's like almost 70 degrees today.
What? No, that's.
Oh my gosh!
That's
it was
Virginia.
-20.
It's so bipolar. It was literally like, the ice age.
we had like a foot of snow last week. Now it's pretty much all gone.
Now it's like sunny California weather. Okay.
It was -20 here last week. Like not even lying. Like it was.
Well, and you're near Michigan too, and you probably get that icy water coming off, or like icy winds off of the water.
Well, it's nuts because where we're at, like I said, we're kind of embedded into the top of Michigan, and all the weather kind of just wishbones around us. It's just like it's like today in Michigan, these guys got 14 inches of snow, and then it's like just the guys over to the east of us. They've got like 15 inches of snow, and then I'm sitting there, like having a barbecue in the backyard, like whatever, bro.
It's funny because you're like totally fine, but in reality, it's like we're trapped. We can't get out. It's like this. It's like being in the eye of a hurricane.
Yeah.
You guys watch that the Toys That Made Us show?
Oh, so good.
No.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
The Toys That Made Us. Hold on.
It's on Netflix.
There's too many Netflix shows now. I can't keep up with them. There's so many of them. Like before, it was just a few, and now all of a sudden there's like.
They're just pumping them out like crazy.
Yeah, well, with the a lot of them are pretty garbage looking to me, so it's pretty easy to ignore a lot of them.
Well, when Netflix first started, every single show they did was like pretty. Oh, okay, here it is.
Knocked out of the park.
The
right?
Toys That Made Us is an American television series by a person that I'm not going to read. The first 4 episodes of the series began streaming on Netflix on December 22nd. Who cares? Oh, it's an 8-episode documentary series focused on the history of important toy lines.
Yeah, so
Star Wars, Barbie, He-Man, and G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
I just watched the He-Man. It was amazing. The editing is amazing.
Really?
The music's amazing.
It's an interesting premise. I guess it can be pretty sentimental.
Did you know Barbie was like a hooker doll? And
what?
Its original... yeah, no, seriously. It's like a little hooker doll. Yeah, and basically what would happen is the male would buy it on a date and give it to his date, and then he would basically like, this is my intention. Like, here's the hooker doll. You know what I want?
That's so creepy.
I know.
And then,
that's really creepy.
He would make like an A-OK symbol with his left hand, and then he'd take his right index finger and stick it through the hole.
He's like, nah, I mean, huh? That's really creepy, though, because it's like, here, I got you a doll. It's a hooker.
I don't know, man. Little Barbie hooker doll.
I think that's what I'm going to title the podcast. The Barbie is a hooker.
One second, I'm going to look this up. Barbie hooker doll. I'm going to put it in.
Yeah, hold up. Let me see if this says anything about... I'm on the Wikipedia page. Are you sure that that's true?
It was in the documentary, man.
It was in the documentary.
Right. Well, let's fact check this with Wikipedia. Okay. Some person watched her daughter, Barbara, play with dolls and noticed she enjoyed them. Mm-hmm.
That's the little Barbie hooker doll, by the way.
Oh, so she won... So... Realizing there was a gap in the market, Handler suggested the idea of adult-bodied doll to her husband. He was unenthusiastic. Yeah, I don't blame him. Except he was wrong.
German hooker named Lily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Came across a German toy doll named Blid Lily. She purchased 3 of them, gave one to her daughter. What a horrible mother.
So you know what she's saying to her daughter, right?
Hey, that's not allowed on this podcast.
Only in Germany.
Where is the hooker part?
Well, didn't it say it was like...
Although it was initially sold to adults. Okay, there you go.
Dude.
Fact check. Not fake news. It became popular with children. Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Like the parents just leaving the sex hooker doll lying around, and the kids just start playing with it, and then they're like, oh, yeah, these kids like these. I guess that makes sense why Barbie's so curvy and why everyone has to fit about it. You know? Like nobody likes
she went
Barbie
through a lot
as
of body
curvy
changes, actually. You should watch the documentary.
Was that in the documentary?
It was a full episode just about Barbie.
Was the outrage parts about Barbie and stuff in there?
Yeah, they talked about the complaints parents had about Barbie having boobs, and
now in
the boobs was a big thing.
You just tell the parents, excuse me, do you know what this thing is for? How dare you buy this for your children?
It's okay though, because they filed the nipples off. I don't know if that was for the documentary, if that was a real thing.
That was pretty great.
Wait,
but,
did they have nipples before?
Yeah, and in the documentary he shows it to the lady that's basically the CEO of Barbie or whatever, and he goes, oh, and he grabs it and he files it off with a nail file, the nipples. And he's like, there you go, that's better.
Oh, let me just fix this. It's funny too because it's just like, all right, well, if there's no nipples, it's fine.
All I mean,
You
this
know?
talk of filing nipples off is making me feel very uncomfortable.
Really? What are you guys talking about?
That-
Filing off nipples.
Well, I'm just imagining it's like, oh, that would hurt so bad.
Yeah.
This is the new fetish of mine.
Oh,
Holy
no.
Sweet.
Is there anything interesting about the G.I. Joe or He-Man?
I haven't gotten to that
Who
episode. yet.
came
I think
up
that's
with the
the
name
fourth episode?
He-Man? What is this
Oh,
thing? I don't even
come
know
on, you
who
take this.
He-Man is.
I watched
really.
it tonight. I could tell you.
I
So he's
feel
from
like
a comic
it's-
book. Is his name He like him man? He-Man?
No, the guy that came up with the idea for He-Man, he was like this wimpy dude who wanted to get buff. And the thing that inspired him to get buff was this, like, in the 50s, this Mr. Atlas kind of character that sold like a exercise routine. And he was called He-Man in that little comic that he was inspired by.
But why
Like the little advertisement comic?
He-Man?
Yeah.
Why? Why is it He-Man? What's the story behind the name?
It's a buff sounding name.
Yeah.
What?
What's manlier than a man?
It sounds
He-Man.
like Sorry. What's more manly? Well, let's add another name for a man.
You double the men. It's fantastic.
That's right. More manly. More men the merrier, right? More manly. Is he in Marvel?
He-Man? No.
No.
He says here he appears in the Marvel comics.
He's not a Marvel
Well,
character.
that must have been afterwards, though.
Oh, this is
Crossover
yeah.
event or something.
It might
Everything-
be like how Transformers for a while was published by Marvel.
The only thing that I know about
And
He-Man,
Star Wars.
the only thing I've ever seen of him is that video of him singing that what song is that?
What's Going On by the
Yeah, really.
Four Non-Blondes or something?
Oh, do I pray? I've never watched anything from him. I don't know anything about this guy. I'm looking at a picture of him. He's a muscular orange guy with a sword.
I
And he
know
has
that
the
his
power.
regular, he's got weird clothes. In whatever form
Yeah,
he's in.
I think I was too cool as a kid to like He-Man. I was too busy liking Spider-Man. Like a cool kid.
Yeah,
And
you were pretty
Legos.
edgy, weren't
Yeah. With my Spider-Man show where they can't punch each other and the police officers have laser guns. I want to see the Lego episode. That would be awesome. I loved Legos when I was a kid. Legos were awesome. I feel like there's no shame in liking Legos either.
you? My parents never bought me Legos.
Oh,
I don't think your parents ever loved you.
I think that too sometimes. I got like one Bionicle, and then that was it.
why didn't they just? Was there a reason?
Probably my dad didn't want to step on them. I was really bad about picking my toys up, so
Your dad's just like, I've heard stories. I'm not gonna buy him these.
or he probably figured
Landmine
I'd play with it
weapons?
for like 10 minutes and not touch it again, which is probably true.
That's what my dad thought I was gonna do with movie making. When I got into it when I was like 9 years old.
With your Lego pieces?
Like, well, so I did do stop motion Legos when
Yeah.
I was a kid, but I saw like basically a Lego set had come out that lets you do stop motion, and I really wanted it, and it was like $180, which for like a child, it's like I'm not buying you that for Christmas, but I really wanted it, and so eventually he was like, all right, look, you can have this thing, but you're not getting any other Christmas presents if you want that. And you're not gonna get any birthday presents either. And I was like, okay, that's fine. He's like, okay, because we got a lot of kids in the family. We can't just like be given all these expensive gifts.
How many siblings do you have?
6?
That's a big family.
Are you the oldest, or?
No, I got two that are older than me. But basically, he bought it. But when he bought it, he was like, I know I'm gonna buy this for him, and he's gonna play with it for like 30 minutes and be like, this is too hard, and then just give up on it. And here I am, like still doing it almost like 18 years later, still making videos. So he's wrong. So John, if your parents had bought you Legos, they might have been wrong.
Sure.
I might have been an engineer by now. But no.
That's right.
Or building Legos at Legoland.
Or just being a full-grown adult sitting in my bedroom building Legos.
I was gonna say like a full-grown adult just at Legoland all the time,
Yeah.
just by yourself.
Hissing at the children that touch my Legos.
Legos are one of those things that really bothers me because as a kid, I never had the money to get them. And now that I'm older and I have my own job, it's like all the Lego sets I want are now like $1,000.
Oh, the classic ones.
So I still can't afford it.
You're really like, it went up with inflation. Like I got more money and now it's more expensive.
Oh man, I should have got a paper route when I was 10.
Rob, did you play with Legos as a kid?
I had a bunch of Legos, but it was never like a huge hobby of mine. And I also had, you guys had Connects, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, I said, hey, holy shit. No,
I heard it. I wasn't going to say it.
Canadians coming out.
Canada!
I played a lot with Connects too, growing up.
We had
giant,
Connects, but I never got into it like Legos.
Yeah. Connects was the Lego wannabe. I don't think it ever got to the same.
Mega Bloks was the Lego wannabe.
Yeah. Well, Connects too, though. Like, I mean, to the point where I think it had its little 10-year run, but Legos is, you don't even know what a Connect is nowadays. Legos are still rocking and frickin' rolling, man. You're spending $2.99 on an effing frickin' Millennium Falcon at Walmart.
The price. It seems like the prices are getting higher and the sets are getting smaller at the same time, and it kind of.
That's right, because they can make the money. It's funny because like I have someone in my office and he's like over 30, and he's got some kids, and they're buying Legos. Like they're into Legos. It's like, whoa, Legos made it through my generation and kept going. Can you imagine if like kids were still buying Atari? That'd be weird.
That would be weird. They're coming out with an Atari Mini, right?
This is like
the reason they're not buying Atari is because of E.T.
What?
It's the worst game ever, apparently.
Oh, is it really? Hold up.
It was so bad that it kind of killed Western gaming for a while, which is probably the reason why Nintendo is a big thing in America.
Game Crash.
Yes.
Yeah. And they buried like 20,000 copies in a landfill somewhere.
All right, so this says like the reception. It's like E.T. was like super anticipated, and so like a sought after Christmas gift, like for things for E.T. And then so the New York Times is like, hey, if you guys make a video game based on this movie, it would make so much money. And so I think like they just like pumped the game out.
I think it had like 3 months of development or something like that.
I'm looking at the picture and it looks the E.T. game looks like a Pong skateboard ramp with a gray background, and then there's just this green E.T. that looks kind of like,
I think it's supposed to basically be unplayable.
He looks like that guy from that one TV show. What's the Imaginary Friends TV show? Or Foster? What is that?
Foster's Home.
Yeah. He looks like that blue guy. That's
Blue?
what E.T. looks like. Yeah, Blue. He looks like that guy.
I've heard he looks like a like half of a rotary phone or whatever you call them.
Yeah, just like this
like
phone. It's like doop doop doop. I'm E.T.
But yeah, it's supposed to basically be unplayable.
Is it like you can't win it?
Like it's just kind of like, well, you go for a bit and then you die. or something.
Video games!
It's unbeatable. All right, now eBay, how much the game is these days?
Oh no! Did you just look it up?
Just do it.
Did you look it up, or should I look it up?
I'm looking it up.
All right, hold on. Okay, you look it up, and we're gonna put bets in. Okay. Here's the thing. It's one of those dumb things where it's like, this is a horrible game, so people might pay a ton of money to get it. So let me know when you pull it up. Okay, you found it?
What do you think? Yeah, what do you think it is?
I'm gonna say. When did it come out? 80s? Oh, let's say. I'm gonna say 220.
1982 it came out.
I'm looking at the page, so I'm not going to say.
Oh, you dude.
No, I was pulling it up at the same time. So
all right, Rob, it's between you and me.
I have not looked it up yet. And I for some reason think it's like in the thousands. I remember hearing something
how much?
about
Just
it
pick
being,
okay, so you're gonna say 1,000. Well, you can bust. So pick a number. Pick a number because you can bust.
$5,000. I don't know.
I think I'm gonna win by default because there's no way I think it's $5,000. What is it,
John?
I'm waiting.
Oh, you want me to say?
Yeah, say it.
It ranges between $5 and $50.
Oh
man,
that's
we
not
were
even
way
cool.
off.
$5.
I just had to drop a couple zeros.
I think that like it's $5 because most people would just want the box.
Yeah, if you want the
my
box, it goes up to 80.
My concern was that John's number would be drastically different from the one I was looking at, which is $47.99 plus $5 for shipping.
What a ripoff, man! $5
I got
for
you in my
shipping.
range, man.
Well,
Isn't
yeah,
that funny?
But,
I
but
love it
was
when they
afraid you're
get
gonna
you
be
with
like,
the shipping. When it's like, oh, this thing is only $100 instead of $200, and the shipping's like $75 or something like that.
See,
Yeah,
for
I'm
some
sure
reason
the shipping
I
is
thought the game was really
$75.
expensive because I think that it was expensive because it was so bad. But then when I was mentioning earlier when they found a bunch of them in a landfill somewhere, that like dropped the price like drastically.
They found them in a landfill.
Yeah, they
Someone
found
was
like 10,000 copies or something,
Holy
like in a landfill. And I might be thinking of
Whoa.
a video cassette or something. Hopefully, I'm not wrong. You know, if
I thought
somebody's
they just buried them in a landfill.
Oh, it's like
Nobody
the
dug them
original.
up.
we gotta forget this shit.
Yeah,
Let's hide this stuff away as quickly as we can.
but when you guys
You
were
can't
guessing,
bury your past, Atari.
when you guys were guessing, I just want to be like, you guys are way overestimating the value of this game.
No, I wasn't overestimating the value of the game. I was overestimating the nostalgia that probably goes along. People pay for broken games. Like when games get fixed, like when they patch them, people pay a ton of money for the game with the glitches in it.
Well, the difference is that people enjoy.
Help me out with
those
an example,
games.
because I don't know an example, but I know they do. Like the old N64 games, like some of them have glitches in them.
But
Yeah.
those are games that people like.
Well, and that was my reasoning behind it.
But
was
they
I was
could
assuming,
buy it
yeah.
for the
The Majora's Mask that had the Islamic chanting in it.
Oh, did it really?
What?
Yeah, and they patched that out
Oh, really?
in one of the temples. Yeah,
Go
I can look
figure.
it up.
Look, I know there are people that exist that would pay $200 for the ET game for the meme.
That's what I'm saying. Is like I assumed it was one of those things where it's the worst
And
game
all
of
your
all
friends
time,
come
and everyone
over.
wanted it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Superman game. You know, like your friends come over and you're like, look what I bought. Whoa! You got the worst game of all of. Look, it's hard to be the most anything of anything. So if you're the worst game of all time, it's like The Room. It's like being the worst movie of all time. And so everyone pays a ton of money to go see it. And everyone loves it.
Do you guys like The Disaster Artist?
I didn't see the movie yet, unfortunately, but I want to.
All right. Let's not talk
Don't spoil
about
it.
then. I think you're gonna enjoy it a lot.
Okay.
Not to talk it up too.
Okay. John, have you seen it yet?
I have not. I've been meaning to see it. I have not.
We talked about seeing it when I was in Virginia, and then we just never got around to it.
Yeah, and my girlfriend's like, she hates movies. Like she falls asleep immediately. So I really don't want to pay for a ticket to a movie that she's gonna fall
in
asleep
the theater?
Yeah.
Oh my!
What? Okay.
She stayed awake for Star Wars because she knew I'd give her so much shit for falling asleep from that.
Dude, it's nuts.
Actually,
to
what
me.
did you think? Did everyone see Star Wars?
Yes.
No.
Austin? What? Oh,
Let's not start this fire right now.
I mean, I was the person who
spoiled
was.
it. You looked up
Yeah.
the ending, didn't you? So you're one
I
of
looked
those
up the
people.
whole plot.
Why would you do that?
Because I'm not
why
buying
do-
into their whole. Oh, don't let someone spoil it for you. So go buy a ticket to see our
show
movie.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Way to go, Austin.
that was. I know
Thank
that
you.
was a marketing ploy, but it was a good marketing ploy because it was true. Nobody wanted it spoiled, so it was like, oh, you don't
That's
want
true.
to get spoiled.
Well, the other thing for me is that I was so worried when I saw episode 7 that they'd do something I really hated. That when they didn't do like the things, was like, oh, they better not do this or it's going to be terrible. Then I was like, oh, it was pretty good because they didn't do the things that would have made me absolutely hate
Yeah,
it.
but you didn't see the movie. It's just like,
Yeah, and I don't know that I want to.
You're just like, that was okay. You didn't watch the movie. Did you like it, Rob? Or did you hate it?
Okay, so being honest, I watched.
We're not going to go into like a lot of
and,
detail.
yeah,
but
I initially watched it, and I kind of walked out doing like a Man of Steel, like, oh Jesus, what did I just watch? And because I seen it with my buddy Dale, and he watched Man of Steel with me, and we had a moment where Superman jumped up in the sky, and we're like, oh, he's gonna fly, and then he's just jumping around like a maniac. And I looked over, and I just looked over at him like,
no.
watching right now. So I did that when something in Star Wars happened, in space, and I was kind of like, what the hell is happening right now? And I walked out of the movie kind of upset, but then I started looking into it. I watched it a second time.
You're talking about Leia.
Yes.
If you haven't, no. If you're listening to this podcast and this is spoiling the movie for you, that's your fault. Okay, this movie has been out for too long. It's too late. You took too long. Austin knows the movie, so we're not worried about spoilers.
And now, honestly, having listened to my buddies who love Star Wars, like we have our one buddy Dan Stefanovic. He is a Star Wars fanatic, and he enjoyed the movie a lot. And I listened to their points. I kind of watched, read a couple review articles about it, watched some videos, and I'm really excited for what's coming next, how they're going to wrap it all up. And I think that the movie will shine a lot more once they finally release the third.
Did you see the movie a second time?
Yes, and I liked it better.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say the same thing, that had the same feelings I did first time they watched it.
Yeah, I just want to say during that one part, which I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about.
Leia floats into space dead, and then she's alive and she floats back using the Force.
She flies back.
Like Mary
She
Poppins.
Supermans her way back. One hand forward, just like Superman. Yeah, I was like, I don't want to sound... I don't want to sound like I'm just this unreasonable Asperger's dude, and there's nothing wrong with Asperger's, but I was like I flailed my arms at that point where it just like I was uncontrollably physically revolted at such a concept of coming back to life and flying back to a ship.
It's like if someone was like holding up I don't know, like some sort of bug or snake and like handing it to you. And you're like, no, like flailing at it. Get it away.
If there was a table, I would have flipped it. I'm just saying.
So you hated that. You absolutely... Here's the thing. When I saw that part, I was like, oh, I don't hate this. Oh,
I hate it.
People are going to hate this, though. I knew how
What do you mean,
bad...
you people?
No, I said you people. I said people. Because
Okay.
I didn't hate it. But I was like,
gonna hate this.
There's going to be a lot of people that are going to hate this, though.
Yeah,
And
that was one.
when she magnetoed back into the airlock.
The thing is, like, I didn't have that much of a problem with that part. It's funny, though, because I went in knowing critics loved it and most people hated it. Or that it was, like, very controversial. So I kept thinking, like, okay, so this is going to be a good, like, a well-made movie, but something's going to happen. And so, like, when Luke walks out, and then those things all laser him, I thought he died. I was like, that's it. Luke died right there.
He pulled an Obi-Wan
That's
Kenobi.
why. No, I literally thought he got destroyed, like blown up, in like just that pathetic way.
The red dirt
like,
was a blood mist.
Yeah, and so I was like, that's it. That's why everyone hates this movie, because they just murdered Luke in the worst way possible.
Did you
and then
notice
he came
that?
out.
Have you seen it once?
Yeah, but I have read a lot of like reviews and stuff, and
so
people
at
have
one
told me
point
things.
In the movie, there's one of like the generals or something, or one of the lieutenants. He walks out of the trench and he steps on the dirt, and he's got red footprints. And I think they did that for the younger audience, and the guy goes, "It's salt." So I think they did that so it's like,
yeah, that was so like I get why they did. I know why they
exploded into a red.
I know
mist.
like why they made him lick it, like, oh, just so the audience knows that it's salt. But it's like that could have been poison. Like, you don't know, you're just gonna eat. Like,
They've never been to that planet, right? It's like,
well, hang on. I know why they did it, but I don't think like there's anybody out there during this huge war that they're about to have, this battle. They're just all lined up waiting to die, and then this one asshole at the end of the line's like, "Check this out, it's salt, man."
Just feeling
he like
salty.
licks it. He licks it and he turns around. He's like, "It's salt. It's salt."
The look the other guy next to him gave him was like, "You fucking idiot."
I'm just thinking of the line from Galaxy Quest where he's like, "What are you doing opening the door? Is there air? You don't know."
oh, he's
man.
great. Speaking of Tim Allen,
That's right. Yes. Full
circle.
As always. Yeah, Tim Allen. Am I right? Does he even do anything? Is he alive? It doesn't seem like he's
I
alive.
think
he's kind of laying low right now after the whole thing.
He
that
had a
went on.
show that got canceled.
Oh, did
What
he have
was
it? Was he another one of the people?
Yeah, the SJW shut him down.
Was he accused of something? Was he like accused of something?
Not accused. just
something about his
context
show.
of the show. Yeah.
Oh,
Was it the
Made
last
fun of a
man
midget
standing?
or something, or a little person.
I guess you're supposed to say
Yeah.
little person.
Yeah.
I guess midget's an
Well-
offensive word now.
Guys, I just want you to know the show was good while it lasted.
That's right. Someone said midget. Game over. This
Well-
podcast is over.
Now it's double over. We've got two people who've said it.
All right, guys, I had fun. So
I really, yeah.
hopefully you have
Rob
me back.
shows up. Rob shows up and shuts the podcast down. All right, well, let's wrap this up, you guys. We've been going for about an hour here, so thanks for joining us, Rob. At this point, I didn't even let you know that we were going to do this, but we all kind of, if we have like an Instagram or a YouTube channel or anything that we do that we want to kind of like throw out there is something that people can look up, this is where we do it. So, John or Austin, do either of you guys have anything?
I
you want
have
to-
nothing.
I have something.
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just want everybody out there to Google Tim Allen's mugshot and be amazed at how it looks just like Shia LaBeouf.
Okay, hold on. Mug
Yeah, I'm gonna do that
shot.
too.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Oh no.
It's
Oh,
insane.
man. It does.
Is there like a
This
side
is
by
from-
side?
Wait, what year is this from?
1979.
Oh man.
He actually got caught.
He's
I
so
believe trafficking
skinny.
cocaine in that picture. I think.
He looks like he was doing it. Like he's so thin.
So
His arms are
handsome.
like sticks. Is that your plug though?
That's my that's my plug.
That's
He's a
good
tool
plug,
man. He can do
actually.
anything.
Wait, did they say? Huh. Interesting. Rob, what about you? Do you have an Instagram or a YouTube or anything like that? Or are you doing anything that you want people to know about?
No. Come out to Amherstburg. Buy a car off me. Rascal Chrysler. And then, I mean, I guess we haven't done anything lately, but if anybody wants to have a few laughs and check out a few video game commentary videos, the most of the videos are myself and my friend Edward Campo, and we kind of just play some games and have some fun, have a few drinks, and have some laughs, and it's a good time. We might do
Heck
some
yeah.
stuff in the future, but right now we just got a little backlog that you guys can check out.
Is John in
ShotgunRocket.com.
any of the videos? What was it? What was the website?
On YouTube, it's Shotgun Rocket, 2 words, and I believe he still has the website up, shotgunrocket.com. And yes, John
Very
is in a
nice.
few of the videos.
Hey!
Yeah. Do you know
Nice.
anything off the top of your head, John, that you're in?
Titanfall.
There you go.
Two. There you go.
Titanfall 2.
Well, thanks for having
funny.
me, guys. Hopefully,
Yeah,
you'll
no
ask me
problem,
back.
man.
I had a lot of fun.
Yep. We're going to wrap up this podcast, everybody. Thanks for listening. Make sure that you, once again, leave a review on iTunes or SoundCloud to help us out. That's how you support us. Thank you. If you've been listening to us for a while, cool. You're really awesome. Thanks, everybody. Outro music. Well, this is awkward. I got so hasty that I didn't do my own plugs. Oh. I just ended the podcast. Make sure you check out my vlogs, guys. And I also wanted to say that I am doing a short film that I've been working on for quite a while now, and it's actually coming out, who knows. But we're filming on Saturday. So like progress is getting made. Really excited about that. I wanted to make sure that I told you guys about that. So basically tomorrow I'm going to be filming, and I hope it goes well. We'll see. So, okay, for real this time, everybody. Thanks for listening. It's been awesome. I almost said until next time. If you watch my vlogs, you know that's my phrase. Oh. This whole podcast is a train wreck. Thanks, everybody. Outro music.